The Oregon Democrat yielded the Senate floor after 22 hours and 37 minutes, the third longest speech in the chamber's history. And Senator Merkley joins us now. He's a member of the Appropriations, Budget, and Foreign Relations Committees. This is his first national interview since his day-long speech. And Senator, thank you so much. I hope you're still awake. How are you doing? And who were you hoping would hear the main message of your speech? Did you have any reaction from your Republican counterparts?
Micah, I was just determined to ring the alarm bells about the authoritarian takeover. What we have seen around the world is democracies no longer die because men with guns go in and take it over. Instead, it's electeds who erode the separation of powers and the checks and balances. If you have a rubber stamp Congress, if you have a court that delivers more power to the executive, if you have an aggressive executive, suddenly you have lost your democracy and you have an authoritarian state structure. And it is here now. So ringing the alarm bells, I hope a lot of people heard those alarm bells last night. And it's so important that we continue kind of the voice that was put forward by the 7 million Americans taking to the street and saying no kings here in America, because we can't let this authoritarian structure get entrenched.
Can I just ask, your Republican counterparts, you know many of them well, I do too. What do you think is the reason behind much of the complicity? And if it's fear, can you define what's causing it?
You know, during the first Trump administration, my Republican colleagues would say, we're so frustrated and embarrassed by the president because we don't accept his personal standards and we don't like what he's doing. But hey, the majority of our base is basically on board, so we have to be on board. What I see now is much less resistance. What you see is the entire Republican caucus on both the House and the Senate are basically saying, whatever the president says, it's our job to make that happen. If he doesn't want us to talk to you and negotiate a way out of this shutdown, we're not even holding discussions. And then the House has been on vacation for, what are we going on, a month, more than a month. And so that is the rubber stamp Congress I'm talking about as a piece of an authoritarian takeover.
Senator, I started preaching very young, but I've never imagined talking as long as you did. So congratulations on the oration, the feat that you did. But what it brought me back to is the basis of people like me that got involved in the civil rights struggle, and that is the morality that we're dealing with, the moral center. It was so impressive to me that you kept appealing not to the politics, but to what do we stand for as a country, and what is the moral center now in the country? Have we moved too far toward an authoritarian kind of acceptance that is dangerous? Talk about that, and I believe, well, I'll ask you, that moral imperative was a lot of what motivated you to do this.
You know, what really gave me the sense was I do a lot of town halls, and I have 36 of them each year. And folks kept saying, we don't like what we see happening with the attack on our rights in America, on free speech, on due process, on freedom of the press. Why aren't you doing more to do something about this? And I would say, well, here are the tools we have in the Senate, and we're using them all in this fashion. People say, that's not enough. Find something else. Do something more. And what I've been, and they're right, and they've been haunting me to, like, what else can I do to use my voice as a U.S. senator? And, you know, it is about values, right? It is about our freedoms, because that's what's under attack here. The idea you can be grabbed off the street because of your accent or your skin color, the fact that the government will use its power over licenses or permits to blackmail law firms and blackmail broadcast entities about what they can put on the air and tell them what comedian can crack what kind of jokes. I mean, this is this is the encroaching authoritarian control that we have seen happen in country after country after country all over the world. It's a replacement of government by and for the people with government by and for the powerful. And it includes the president grabbing the power of the purse, constitutionally belonging to Congress, and take it and put it in the executive. And when that happens, you have that further, more powerful authoritarian executive. And we just can't let that happen.
Senator, it's Lauren Leader. I think it took you 23 hours, and I'm guessing you feel that you probably could have gone longer. There was more to cover. And it does feel like Americans are really overwhelmed by just the vastness of the issues that are facing the country, the frustrations, several of which you just laid out beautifully. How do you think we can continue to help Americans stay focused on what are the most important issues when it does feel like kind of a five-alarm fire all the time?
Well, one of the things that has happened with the strategy of the Trump administration is to flood the zone with 3 new outrageous things every week. So if you try to get folks to concentrate on one thing, well, by the time you do that, 2 or 3 more things that have happened. That is one reason that in this shutdown, we keep coming back to talking about healthcare, because 20 million people are going to face basically an average doubling of their healthcare costs on January 1st. They're learning about it now as they're getting their estimates for what their policies will cost. And when the Speaker Johnson says, I'm not sitting down to negotiate anything because there's nothing to negotiate. And I'm thinking, nothing to negotiate? You've got millions of people who won't be able to afford insurance because of the big ugly betrayal of a bill that you passed. You did this, you slashed health care to fund tax breaks for billionaires, you cut nutrition to fund tax breaks for billionaires, and when the Medicaid changes kick in, that's going to be equivalent to 15 million people losing health insurance, and that's now only, about 14 months out? There's a lot to talk about. Why are you on vacation? Why aren't you here talking to us? And now the president's, he's going overseas instead of sitting down. The leadership of the Democrats in the House and Senate asked him to sit down and negotiate before he left, and he refused. So we're in a very bizarre zone here. In a democracy, you're supposed to sit and talk to each other and try to work out a strategy to make the country work better, and they're AWOL.
Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. Get some sleep.
Good to be with you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, coming up on